If day trading is too stressful or you just don't want to deal with the volatility of the market, M1 Finance has got you covered. This easy-to-use trading platform basically lets you build your own index fund out of companies that you believe in. And if you use my link at chainsawccc.com/M1, M1 Finance will give you a free $30 just for signing up and funding your M1 account. Get started today. chainsawccc.com/M1. $30 is waiting for you, bro. Welcome back. And as I've mentioned several times before, Chainsaw Cash Coffee and Chaos is nearly 100% viewer funded. So thank you very much to those who have subscribed. I encourage you to go to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe to the channel. Check me out, of course, on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and of course Facebook. But the most important thing you can do to support the show and the cause, the pushback against the wacky fascist message you'll hear on talk radio and other social media channels and outlets is to subscribe and feel free to leave a comment if you like it, if you love it, if you hate it. Always looking forward to reading messages from viewers. But let's just jump right into this. So breaking news as of the time of filming, anyway, and this is coming kind of some news that's been happening over the last say about a week here. But we'll jump into the backstory and then we'll get straight to the breaking news. So the House is looking to vote to censuring Representative Paul Gosar over a video that he'd made. This is coming directly from AP. Now, I apologize, I wasn't actually able to find the video, and we'll mention a little bit about that, what happened to the video, and why you're not able to find it online either. So let's ads here, jump right into it. So Washington AP, the House will vote Wednesday, that's today, on a resolution to censure Republican Representative Paul Gosar, Dr. Paul Gosar, if you will, of Arizona, for tweeting an animated video that depicts him striking Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a Democrat from New York, with a sword. Now, if you haven't seen the video, again, I wasn't able to actually find it and pull it up for this segment here, unfortunately, but it's pretty unique, to say the least, right? Basically, in the video, it's a scene from Attack on Titan, and they've just rendered Paul Gosar's head on the protagonist character, and I guess on the Titans, the Kyojin, they've rendered Representative Ocasio-Cortez's head, and then I believe, and again, this is a few days ago when I saw it, President Joe Biden's head on another one. So Democratic lawmakers said that Gosar's actions amounted to threatening another member's life, calling the video so beyond the pale. Republicans warned Democrats to be careful about dictating the punishment of those who serve in the minority because of the precedent it will set. Earlier this year, the House stripped Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican of Georgia, of her committee assignments for spreading hateful, violent conspiracy theories. Yeah, she's nuts. This is a dark and dangerous road for the majority. The majority is going down, said Representative Tom Cole of Oklahoma, the ranking Republican on the House Rules Committee. I urge you, for the future of the chamber, to rethink this course. Now, despite what Representative Cole says, it's not political. I mean, you can't. If you work at McDonald's and you posted something like this on social media, you're probably going to get fired. Let alone taken off the front counter and put back on dish. So, the fact that he's not in jail for making these kind of this goes what goes beyond the pale is artistic expression. But Gosar posted the video over a week ago with a note saying, any anime fans out there? ? The roughly 90-second video was an altered version of a Japanese anime clip interspersed with shots of Border Patrol officers and migrants at the southern U.S. border. During one roughly 10-second section, animated characters whose faces have been replaced with Gosar Green of Georgia and Lauren Boebert of Colorado were shown fighting other animated characters. In one scene, Gosar's character is seen striking the one made to look like Ocasio-Cortez in the neck with a sword. If you've seen the show, you get the premise. The video also shows him attacking President Joe Biden. I don't know if it was to create harm, if it was to incite violence, if it was to fuel hate, but it probably accomplished all of those things, said Representative Veronica Escobar, a Democrat from Texas. We had an obligation to live up to the highest standards possible, but also to hold each other up to those standards. If we don't do it, then what are we doing? What we're doing is allowing for a new norm to be created. Last week, Gosar issued a statement saying the video wasn't meant to depict harm or violence, calling it instead a symbolic portrayal of a fight over immigration policy. Cute. He told his House Republican colleagues during a private meeting Tuesday that he would never espouse violence or harm to anyone. Gosar noted that he took the video down from his account, according to a person in the room who spoke on conditions of anonymity to discuss the private meeting. Now, Twitter had originally allowed for the video to stay up and stay posted. They did post a warning, of course, that these scenes may depict things that are pretty disgusting. So watch at your own discretion, right? But and I looked, obviously, Representative Dr. Paul Gosar did remove the video, but in its place, the menace isn't exactly over. He did leave this tweet, and this was posted same day, the 9th. Representative Paul Gosar, DDS, that's at Rep Gosar on Twitter. Your cartoon anime scares me with your jetpack, flying, and lightsabers. Or actually, lightsabers, at least in the scenes that I saw. I might not have caught it in full here. It's a cartoon, relax. So, it's good enough for him to mock, good enough for him to post. It's certainly good enough for him to take down, but, obviously because of the backlash, and I guess because he was ashamed of, his artistic expression. But, yeah, so, other lawmakers, this happened, obviously, earlier, say about a week ago, and other lawmakers have chimed in on this. Let's take a look at just some of the video clips from other lawmakers. This is pulled from the recount here. Let's take a listen here.
We just found out on the House floor, I am sitting in the House booth right now, not a prison cell, I promise you, that the House is going to hold a vote trying to censure Paul Gosar tomorrow. That's, it's unclear how many Republicans are ultimately going to vote for that. House Democrats are going to try to strip him of his committee assignment. He sits on the House Oversight Committee. I just grabbed a handful of Republicans. They were very reticent to criticize him.
And from Speaker Pelosi.
From potentially his committee assignment.
Why go after him?
Yes.
Because he made threats, suggestions about harming a member of Congress. That is an insult, not only an endangerment of that member of Congress, but an insult to the institution of the House of Representatives. We cannot have members joking about murdering each other, as well as threatening the President of the United States.
And Speaker Pelosi, the vote will be tomorrow, correct?
And see, we'll save that one. The Representative Paul Gosar actually at the testifying before the House here. Let's take a look.
No matter how much the left tries to quiet me, I will continue to speak out against amnesty for illegal aliens, defend the rule of law, and advance the American First agenda. If I must join
Gentleman's recognized, 30 seconds.
If I must join Alexander Hamilton, the first person attempted to be censored by this House, so be it. It is done.
Invoking Alexander Hamilton. That's bit of a reach. Hope he stretched. Did he go too far? We'll see here. So Representative Jackson Lee, Democrat from Texas, speaking out.
Oath of office that is taken by members of Congress gives us many privileges, and I'll detail that in my debate. But it does not give us the privileges of murder, to kill, to assault without impunity.
And speaking before the U.S. House.
It is treasonous to be seen to attack the President of the United States of America. In one scene, footage of migrants crossing the Rio Grande is overlaid with what appears to be splattered blood. Who are we as a nation? In another, the words drugs, crime, poverty, money, murder, gangs, violence, trafficking flash across the screen. Mr. Gosar knew what he was doing.
And we even get to hear from Representative Busy Hands himself here. Here's Matt Gaetz from Florida.
Anime is fiction to the point of the absurd. It's not really my thing, and it does glorify violence, but often to symbolize conflict, not realistic harm to another person. In the last session week we had, we reviewed Steve Bannon's podcast. Today, we're critiquing Paul Gosar's anime. Next week, we might be indicting the Wile E. Coyote for an explosive ordinance against the Roadrunner.
Aren't these the same people who just tried to pick a fight with Big Bird? Just about the same time. I'm pretty sure, and then you can check on this if you like. Representative Paul Gosar makes a reference to Big Bird being a commie on his Twitter feed, but hey, the hypocrisy knows no bounds, right? And House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy weighs in. During the press conference, I guess he was asked if he'll comment about Representative Paul Gosar.
Did you listen to anything we said? Did you listen to anything the American public said last Tuesday?
I did, but he's about to be censured in an extraordinary way.
Thank you. Next question.
Right. So refusing to answer questions. Great. And well, let's take a look and see AOC's response. Of course, she tweeted a response, but of course, this is directly on the U.S. House today.
This is not about a double standard, and what is unprecedented and what is tragic is the descent of transgression in this body. I grew up as a little girl with awe about our nation's capital. The reverence and the importance and the gravity of our work here.
You have additional 30 seconds.
Gentleman is recognized. The gravity of our work here. So the question that I pose to this body in response is, will we live up to the promises that we make our children? That this is a place where we will defend one another regardless of belief. That our core human dignity matters. If you believe that this behavior is acceptable, go ahead. Vote no. But if you believe that this behavior should not be accepted, then vote yes. It's really that simple. Thank you.
And ironically, just since she mentions that, and I've heard a lot of commentary recently from other talking heads on they say talk news, radio, YouTubers, folks with podcasts, making reference to the American mythology that honestly most of us, and myself included, grew up on, were raised upon in public school system. You go to civics class, you go to social studies class, you go to a American history class, versus the real world and how the real world works. Those same 6th, 7th, and 8th graders taking social studies classes, learning about the history of the United States and reading the Constitution for the in full for the first time. may very well, and in a lot of cases, grow up to find out that hey, they were just lied to if they turn on the news and see what's going on out there. But between the court cases that have taken the national stage in recent weeks, and just crazy stuff like this by representatives, the things that we've seen in the last couple of years would really make the entire system out to plays against the American mythology versus the reality of living in the United States. But let's continue here. So this is again Representative Gosar. I think we got this here. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, actually before the U.S. House here, giving his 2 cents worth.
The Speaker is burning down the House on her way out the door. What's worse, we got to this point on the basis of a double standard. Democrats want to change the rules but refuse to apply them to their own caucus.
Democrats want to change the rules. All right. And quick screenshot of the vote here.
Think your brother is dangerous?
I do. Yeah, I do. I don't try to choose.
Oh, and so this is Tim Gosar, brother of Representative Gosar. Now, I may include this, in a future segment here about there's actually a political campaign video that was made by his opponent for the previous election, where it has, well, you'll just have to see it. It's a bunch of folks speaking out against Representative Gosar, and in the hopes that he doesn't win that election campaign, making reference to him not having the people of Arizona in his their best interests at heart, and come to find out that every single person in the commercial is a sibling or a relative, Representative Gosar. So this is Tim Gosar, brother of Paul.
Use my words loosely. I believe he's dangerous, unhinged, and is reckless, and is somebody that, as I've said before, needs to not only be censored, but he needs to be expelled.
Well, and you heard it there first. That's what the family's saying. So let's take a look, and this is the breaking news here. House censures Representative Gosar for violent video in rare rebuke. Now, this is obviously a little bit more than 30 minutes ago, but this is still breaking news. So hopefully we're catching this before any other outlet, right? So Washington AP, the House voted Wednesday to censor Representative Paul Gosar of Arizona for posting an animated video that depicted him killing Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez with a sword. Extraordinary rebuke that highlighted the political strains testing Washington and the country, calling the video a clear threat to a lawmaker's life. Democrats argued Gosar's conduct would not be tolerated in any other workplace and shouldn't be in Congress, and it wouldn't. I mean, you try this stuff at McDonald's and you're going to get fired. You're definitely not going to be pulled, like I said, you're not going to be pulled off the front desk and sent to dish duty. You're just going to go home with sadness in your eyes. For sheer stupidity. The vote to censor Gosar and also strip him of his committee assignments was approved by a vote of 223 to 207, almost entirely along party lines. So, you know where that stands, right? At least in the House. What's acceptable. So, keep it in mind, these are the party of law and order that we're talking about. These are the same folks who, pull yourself up pull yourself up by your bootstraps, folks. So the hypocrisy knows no bounds. Republican Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy called the vote an abuse of power by Democrats to distract from national problems. He said of the censor, a new standard will continue to be applied in the future. Great. So if anybody else is making these kind of, art projects and posting that stuff to social media, then they probably should. I mean, isn't there enough violent rhetoric from the right in this country? I mean, really? I can't believe that anyone's surprised, by the response to this, let alone the actions of Representative Gosar. A signal of potential ramifications for Democratic members in the future Congresses, he says. A Democrat said there was nothing political about it. These actions demand a response. We cannot have members joking about murdering each other, said House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. This is both an endangerment of our elected officials and an insult to the institution. Right, act like a freaking professional or you lose your job. Maybe that may be next. Ocasio-Cortez herself said in an emotional speech, "Our work here matters. Our example matters. There is meaning in our service and as leaders in the country. When we incite violence and depictions against our colleagues, that trickles down to violence in this country, and that is where we must draw the line." I'm pretty sure there's a huge situation going on with some of that may have happened around January. That's something QAnon shaman. An unrepentant Gosar rejected that what he called the mischaracterization that the cartoon was dangerous or threatening. It was not. I do not espouse violence toward anyone. I never have. It was not in my purpose to make anyone upset, Gosar said. He compared himself to Alexander Hamilton, the nation's first Treasury Secretary, celebrated in recent years, a Broadway musical, whose censure vote in the House was defeated. If I must join Alexander Hamilton, the first person attempted to be censured by this House, so be it. It is done. The decision to censure Gosar, one of the strongest punishments the House can dole out, was just the fourth in nearly 40 years and just the latest example of the raw tensions that have roiled Congress since the 2020 election and the violent Capitol insurrection that followed. Imagine that. The decision to move forward with the effort was born out of Democratic frustration with the House GOP, which declined to publicly rebuke Gosar, who has a lengthy history of incendiary remarks. Really, Kevin McCarthy could have done something about this, spoke out. Nah, we're just going to end the guy, whatever. We do what we want on this side of the aisle. Instead, GOP leaders have largely ignored his actions and urged their members to vote against the resolution censoring him, which they have, of course, it seems, for the vastly most part. They also warned that the efforts set a precedent that could come back to haunt Democrats if they find themselves in the minority. Representative Grabby Hands Matt Gaetz of Florida said, "I would just suggest we have better things to do on the floor of the House of Representatives than be hall monitors for Twitter." Boy, this guy should really hope that they don't find anything better to do. The resolution will remove Gosar from two committees, Natural Resources and the Oversight and Reform Panel, on which Ocasio-Cortez also serves, limiting his ability to shape legislation and deliver for constituents. It states that depictions of violence can foment actual violence and jeopardize the safety of elected officials, citing the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol as an example. Gosar becomes the 24th House member to be censured, though it carries no practical effect except to provide a historical footnote that marks a lawmaker's career. It is the strongest punishment the House can issue of expulsion, short of expulsion, which requires a 2/3 vote. Democratic Representative, which he should be, expulsion should be, the guy should be just kicked to the curb. I mean, really, that's, you can't pull this kind of stuff in 2021. It's insane that that they wouldn't have the vote to do something like that to these whack jobs. But I mean, I guess that's what happens when, a good number of the folks who are on that side of the aisle, much representative of those type of whack jobs, not saying that all Republicans are, are like this, but, we're looking at about 28 to 33% of the, entire country, is in agreements, with these, freaking psychopaths. So, that's saying something, for sure. It's gross. It's just absolutely gross. Democratic Representative Charles Rangel, the former chairman of the powerful House Ways and Means Committee, was the last to receive the rebuke in 2010 for financial misconduct. It would be the second time this year the House has initiated the removal of GOP lawmaker from an assigned committee, the first being Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia. Gosar, a six-term congressman, posted the video over a week ago with a note saying, any anime fans out there? The roughly 90-second video was, we already covered that. Ocasio-Cortez, whose receipt of repeated death threats has required her to spend thousands on security, said Gosar, has not apologized to her. She singled out McCarthy for not condemning Gosar. What's so hard about saying this is wrong? And that's real. Ocasio-Cortez said on the House floor Wednesday, this is not about me. This is about Representative Gosar. This is about what we are willing to accept. That's real, What kind of a freaking psychopath, would not, would support this? I mean, people actually sign their name in support of this, and Kevin McCarthy stands in silence. Representative Adam Kinzinger was one of the few Republicans saying he would vote to censure Gosar. We have to hold members accountable who incite and glorify violence, who spread and perpetuate dangerous conspiracies. The failure to do so will take us one step closer to this fantasized violence becoming real, becoming more fanaticized, if you will. This is not the first brush with controversy for Gosar, who was first elected in 2010's Tea Party way of, guys. He's been repeatedly criticized by his own siblings, 6 of whom appeared in a campaign ad supporting his Democratic opponent in 2018. Earlier this year, Gosar looked to form an America First caucus with other hardline Republican House members that aim to promote Anglo-Saxon political traditions, because this is your country, right? Heard what Michael Flynn's talking about, one religion? This is a thing. While warning that mass immigration was putting the unique identity of the U.S. white people at risk. He's made appearances at fringe right-wing events, including 2018 rally in London for a jailed British activist who repeatedly spread anti-Muslim views in a gathering in Florida last February hosted by Nick Fuentes on an internet personality who has promoted white supremacist beliefs. He's also portrayed a woman shot by Capitol Police during the attack on the Capitol as a martyr, claiming she was executed. And he falsely suggested that a 2017 white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, the one with good old Ted Landrum, on the front page there, old Ted Von Newcomb, that piece of garbage. I brush my teeth after this. Falsely suggested that the 2017 white supremacist rally in Charlottesville was instigated by the left, of course, and backed by billionaire George Soros. Teddy, did you get that Soros money? Is that how you got there? Oh my goodness. A major funder of liberal causes who's become the focus of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. So that's unique. So according to Representative Gosar, looks like George Soros is bankrolling Teddy Landrum, is paying him for it. It's what is it, some kind of a conspiracy, a leftist conspiracy, kind of like what they were talking about the January 6th riots. I mean, you're still seeing folks on social media talking about how it was Antifa. So I guess it's good news that the Antifa shaman is going to be going to prison for 41 months for for showing up and acting like a jackass with a bunch of these other radical leftists carrying Trump flags and beating the hell out of cops and whatnot. But hey, that's a different story for a different day. We're going to take a short break. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you in a minute.